Okay, so let's get started on this. As y'all can see, I brought in all different kinds of wood. I don't know what you're running into out there. Some of these things are pretty exotic. We start out with basic pressure-treated pine, even funky stuff. That was a fun board to find. I got redwood, I got cedar, I got poplar, I got mahogany, and these are various hardwoods, principally ipe. There's a lot of variations between them. But that's about the limit of what you're going to run into as far as deck construction out there. So we're going to play with all these things. The amazing stuff that I want to show you today, we're going to kind of do, we're going to work with wet wood, which is what holds everybody back. How long do you wait before you can? Yeah, it's 2 days between washing and sealing. It's waiting 3 months to get on a new deck. You know, you got a customer right there. You can work with different fence builders. You can work with deck builders. Cut deals with them where they help sell your work and you show up the next day and seal the thing. So that's what we're all about, making money. In the end, that's all that matters. Okay, we're going to show you two different sealers. One is a water-borne, one is an oil formula. And I'll tell you the differences between the water-borne, for example, and a water-borne you might find at Lowe's or Home Depot. Because I know you have to drive right past Home Depot to come and see me. That bugs the heck out of me because nobody at those kind of stores really understands what they're selling you, so you're left on your own. You don't have somebody like me helping you out. So that's why I work so hard. Hey, how you doing? That's why I work so hard to get the kind of products that help you make money. One of the biggest differences you'll find, and people will ask this today, so I kind of made this up the other day. I had a contractor stop in who couldn't be here this morning, and I did a quick demonstration for him. This is the waterborne product put down on dry wood. This is the waterborne product put down on wet wood, and this is ready seal. So you can see next to it. We've got this stripper here. We're going to play with it. This is a little ordinary ribbit, and I'm just going to show you how this stuff comes off. Worst thing about acrylic sealers, or most waterborne sealers on the market, is you can't get those puppies off. They form a coating that cracks and peels 2 years later, and getting the stuff off is a real booger bear. You all have been up against it. We don't need to name. It's really tough to get that stuff off of there. This waterborne is very different because there's release agents built into it. So this is
brand name we're talking about today, Pete?
DRP Best.
Oh, there we go. All
Deck
right.
restoration. We can use a pressure washer to get this off. Chances are we can just use this. It's not that big a deal. This stuff is just that in a moment. So for a waterborne sealer that you can just strip off without any difficulty, that's kind of an amazing thing. Okay, how much work did I put into that?
We're not
So, now we got a waterborne that strips off with an ordinary caustic stripper. If you think ribbit is ordinary, I don't, but that's my personal pride showing through. So that makes it different than anything that you can buy at Home Depot or a big time. There's a bucket over there with some water. Let's take some boards, let's get something wet here. Let's have some fun with this. It is real water down in there. This isn't a sideshow. Okay, so we've got some wet wood, we've got some dry wood, there's redwood. You want to play with the waterborne product first or the oil? What do you guys want to see? Both of them. You want to see both. That's the gig. Alright. Nasty, huh? Yeah. We probably should have cleaned that. What do you say we give it a quick cleaning? We just want to be real world here. Okay? This is the kind of stuff, you've seen this deck before, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't our lady call you and say, can't you make this look like brand new? It'd be hard to make that look good, don't you think?
Not with Pete's knowledge.
Okay, so now, let's play with this. This is the waterborne product, very thin, so it goes through your texture just like you're used to. Water actually helps this product work. It looks like it thins its way out, but it really doesn't. The water will evaporate. This part of the wood will dry faster than that part of the wood. Because what's happening here is the sealer is sucked down into the wood, it displaces the water, pushes the water up to the top of the wood. Chemically, that's what's going on, so that the water evaporates quicker on the surface. Water helps it. In fact, when you go out on a deck and it's a hot day, we get days 96 degrees, 96% humidity, and that deck is hot. If any of you ever experienced flash drying with a sealer, you put it on, it dries way too quick, it never penetrates, it sits on the surface. Next rain, a lot of it washes away. That's a serious problem. So how do you prevent flash drying? Is you cool that deck down, take out the garden hose, wet that deck down, put your sealer on. Huge difference. We're trying to change the deck sealing business. That's what I'm here to do today. All right, we're just kind of slopping this stuff on. It doesn't take a lot of skills.
What's been the customer's reaction to putting this stuff on their wet deck?
Sometimes it's a selling point. Customers don't know what it is that you're doing. They're trying to figure it out if they're interested. The people with these e-pay decks, they don't care. They're just hiring you to do a service for them, okay? But you're going to run into customers who do some research on the net. They're going to be, everybody knows oil and water don't mix when we get to the oil sealer. So people are going to be curious, and when they do, it becomes your selling point. You're using something that they can't buy at Home Depot. They don't know where to get it from, okay? It's something that you have access to. It makes you different from Jim Ed Bob. You all know who Jim Ed Bob is. Rusty Buick station wagon, 3-gallon-a-minute pressure washer in the back, and he's doing jobs for beer money, okay? And that's the guy we got to fight against all the time. He's taking jobs away from you. Let's play with some oil.
What colors does this come in, Pete?
We've got 4 colors. There is a red, there's a gold, there's a brown, and a cedar. Now we got oil sealer, and we're going to do the same thing, and we can do it on the same boards. And this is just going to be amazing. Different color, obviously, so we can tell the difference in what we're doing. But here we are. The oils in this are tongue and linseed. I know that I've been preaching to all of y'all for a long time about not using linseed oil because it forms a coating. Because of the technology of this particular sealer, we're not going to get a coating on this. What you're going to get is a nice sheen and good water beading. With the e-pay, you can see the difference. Let's take this piece right here, ironwood. Man, this white china bristles. All right, so we're going to go back and start doing some second coats.
What's the name of that product here?
This? DRP Best. This is going to be the oil formula. This is the hardwood formula.
So the plus is the water-borne, and the best is the oil-based?
It's not oil-based, it's an oil formula. It's got tongue oil, linseed oil, but it's actually a water-based formulation. So every oil molecule in here is in an envelope of water, and that's how we get it to go on wet wood. If I just took tongue oil and put it on wet wood, it'd roll off.
What's up?
Okay? So it's different than what you're thinking, and it's chemistry. You know, no one wants to take chemistry class all over again, but somebody has to do this stuff. So that's what's going on, is you've got people in white lab coats doing experiments and figuring out what can be done.
How long should you have to wait before you put a second coat on?
I usually recommend about 30 minutes. You notice I'm even putting it over the funky part here. And the reason that I'm recommending 30 minutes is there is a small element of this that is coating. I would say probably about 5%. My tendency as a deck guy, when I dealt with products like this, was just basically to pop out of my shoes. If I could walk on it with my socks, when you walk with your shoes and you do this, you'll literally move whatever is on the surface. If you walk on with your socks and do it, I know I'm dating myself, but this goes back to sock hops in the gym. If you wanted to keep the floor nice, you took your shoes off. That's all. The customer wants oil. Oil, to a lot of people, gives a very different look. We're going to see that in a few minutes. Let's just put some oil on a board all by itself. How about this poplar right here? Actually, I'd like to have pressure treatment. If you all can see past the green, because I never put brightener on this particular board, I just want to show you what this is going to look like when you're done on a deck, and you're going to be really impressed with the overall look. If you like the way Ready Seal looks, imagine Ready Seal with about twice the amount of pigment in it and some real color pop. This changes how you charge, because this second trip back, or in most cases third trip back, to go back and do a deck after 2 days of drying. How many of you remember when we've had a week of rain? You're scheduled to do X number of decks. I can remember 3 and 4 weeks of rain. I can remember 6 weeks of rain one June. I don't know how you get 6 weeks in a June, but it was around a June. And basically we had a bunch of decks washed, and we couldn't get any money out of the customers till we could go back and seal. And every time it got close to being dry, boom, we'd get rain again. So that's what you run into. With this kind of a product, you don't have those issues. So we're just going to let that work right there. And it says on there, don't use it if you expect rain within 24 hours. Well, that kind of eliminates every summer day in Atlanta, because we never have a day that doesn't have a 10 or 20% chance of rain. That's the way it is. So with this kind of thing, when it gets rained on, what do you say we rain on one of these? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? This hasn't been long enough for the oil part to dry, but I would like to rain on it and see what happens. So let's rain on this deck, even though we know we're going to dig it. Run it this way. The oil struggled the most because it had been on there the smallest amount of time. If it doesn't look nice, well, I won't do it till after that dries a little bit and we get to see it. We're just going to throw another coat on it. If that's what happens, there's no stripping involved or anything else. If we do have a situation, customer's upset, you know, and the skies opened up 10 minutes after we left, we're just going to go out and put another coat on it. So I'm still waiting for this to be ruined. Are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
Color's coming back.
It's just going to continue to dry. Now that was way too early. I told you I liked it to dry for about an hour and a half before anything falls on it. But as you can see, that finish isn't damaged. Nothing has to be stripped. And that's the most important thing to deal with. It'll look like a pretty board again. So I'm going to go do that. Oops.
Pete, that 150 square feet,
Yes.
that's with 2 coats?
Yes. So 2 300 square foot per gallon coats gives you 150 square foot per gallon coverage rate. Does that make sense?
Second coat, wait approximately how long before you can walk?
About 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, about 30 minutes or so. You should be able to step on it in your socks. It's also a great time to go to lunch. So put a coat on it, or go do another job. Go out, wash another deck. That'll take you an hour. Okay, but come back. The whole thing is collecting the check at the end of that day. That's the whole thing. Mr. Visa gives you 30 days to pay for the sealer. You know, everything works out. This is a cash flow deal. So, yeah, get the check. I used to pay guys to go out and wash decks, and if we got rained out, sometimes I was paying them 3 weeks before I got money back in. That hurt. Because you couldn't collect till the customer was happy. They didn't want to pay you half because you came out and washed. They don't know if they were going to see you again.
Pete, this question may have been asked during, but how long between the second coats is there?
About 30 minutes or so is what I'm looking for. You can go an hour. Yeah. You just want to be dry enough that you can step on it without leaving marks. That's all. I told the guys what I used to do whenever I worked with a water-borne sealer was pop out of my shoes. My second coat was done with a stain pad. I only second coated the floors. I never worried about spindles. Floors in the top of the handrail and the stair treads. So that's when I break out my stain pad, my little $6 miracle thing, and I pop out of my boots and I'm in my socks, and I'd step up and I'd just work my way down towards the stairs. I'd get the handrail as I went along, and my second coat was really just a skim coat. But it left the thing, that's where the beauty came from, okay? If you didn't do that second coat, it just didn't look nearly as good. So that's how I did it when I worked with water-borne products back in, you know, the days of yore. But I popped out of my boots and used his flat stain pad. And that's a 10-minute investment in time. There wasn't a deck out there that I couldn't rush through and get that second skim coat on in about 10 minutes, so.